Welcome to the Sky Magazine coverage of the European Ultimate Championships. We're here with the German mixed team taking on the Czech mixed team. Play has already started. I have Liam Rosen here beside me. I'm Liam Grant, and he's going to take it away with a play-by-play commentary.
Thanks, Liam. Good to have the two Liams back reunited as we watch this pool play matchup. Bernhard Otto with the disc for Germany, swings it around to the far side. We're here on a new pitch today. This is the showcase pitch. So Germany still working it down the field. No turnover, snatched out of the air. And Germany now 5 meters out of their own end zone. Looking to get it off the line. Great dump pass. Germany's got some athletes. Forehand, not in. Gronach a meter out of the end zone, finds Bernhard Otto for the goal. Oh, excuse me, correction on that, that's not Otto. Germans are all wearing the same hats.
Yeah, great play there by the Germans. Clinical offense. I'm really excited about this game, Limo. Both teams have a great tradition in mixed ultimate. We saw the German team winning in Dubai only a few months ago in the mixed division in the World Championships of Beach Ultimate. And if we look back at the Czech history, I think they came second in the mixed division at UC 2007, was it?
Yep.
Also way back in 2003, I think, coming third. So they really like playing in the mixed division. And yeah, two powerhouses of that. So exciting to see how this one will go. I think the Czechs calling for women here, is it? No.
Some confusion about lines, but Germans are all lined back up and ready to pull.
Yeah, the Czech team choosing to have 4 ladies on offense. That pull, splashing in a pull there in the side of the field. As we see the Czech player with the backwards cap strolling this one up.
So pull will be bricked. And disc comes in with Czech playing a horizontal stack, and that's a first throw turnover for the Czech team. Germany will pick it up right away. Peterson near the end zone, looking for the quick strike. Germany with the goal. Tina Woodings reels it into the end zone.
Woodings actually a US player on this roster, from what I understand, plays with a Showdown. So the Germans delighted to have her in the squad.
Yeah, she's actually half German, half American, has lived in Germany for the last 6 months, preparing actually with the team, is planning to move back and live in Germany permanently next year. So one of the several players with some international flair on this German roster, as is common for German mixed teams. Czech players are mostly Czech themselves.
Yeah, big age difference in the Czech team as well. I think the youngest player is 16 with the oldest clocking in around 38, so a lot of diversity in age groups.
And this is something interesting, I think, coming from an American perspective about European Ultimate. Some of these countries, when you're pulling from a player base of only 200, 300 players, your best players may still be over 40. So they may be eligible to play Masters. They're not going to play Masters. In the U.S., very few players are able to play at a competitive level, especially on something like a national team past age 35 or so. So Czech Republic going the other way with it. Kosťovec over to Holeček. Kosťovec back into the middle. Jiří Vlčeček. Holeček out near the brick mark. Back to the sideline. Flick hook down the line. It's blading in. Beautiful reception from Kulikova, still with it. Looking for the dump, back to Holacek. Out to space. Nice layout from Pedro to save that disc. High disc for Shanova. Shanova, high release, back to Kochevek. Far side. Holacek now within striking distance of the end zone. Nice long mark, high release flick, and a layout checks right on the line now. Yuri Vocicek looking to put it in. No options, gets the break off. Looks like there was a pick call in the stack. And Czech team in a nice, neat vertical stack, leaving those options open for the cuts from the back. Vocicek gets it back out to Holacek. Holacek far side, not in. But Czech team with some nice patience to put their first point on the board. 2-1, Germany leads.
Yeah, we saw a great layout grab there by Peter Kochevek. One of the oldest players on the team. He was involved back in 2003, 2004. He was also involved with running the World Ultimate Club Championships in Prague in 2010, not so long ago. And he's doing really well to orchestrate this offense here. And I expect to see him do that all day.
Yeah, he's quite clearly one of the leaders of this team, both on and off the field. Was responsible for getting the team together, being involved with tryouts, and also great to have a steady handler presence on the field as well. So Germany now waits for the pull. Both teams playing 3 women. Pull received by Botto. Gronacher. Near side to Valchak. Valchak, the up line to Gronacher. Czech Republic looking for the poach D. They don't have it. Germany uses the foul. Gronacher doing work within the distance of the end zone. Valchak puts it in. And Levka Valchak, what a story there. She's only 19 years old. The youngest player on this German team is playing this summer under 20 in Heilbronn, under 23 in London, European Ultimate Championships here in Copenhagen. Those 3 tournaments. Besides that, she also plays professional women's football in Germany for Holstein Kiel. So she's a bright star for this German team.
Yeah, absolutely amazing story. Let's hope she sticks with the ultimate more so than the soccer, because we love to see her on this field. Absolutely amazing out there. Yeah, great stuff by the German offense there. Really keeping that open side lane clean so the handlers could attack up line and doing so really well. Pretty much working the whole way up the field with the handlers, driving up line, great little shuffles getting free. And the Czechs need to take that away a bit more.
Germany pulling back off to the Czech Republic. Kochevek. To Laja. Back to Kochevek. Czech Republic working now against the German zone. Liam, have you figured out yet what the zone is? It looks like it's 2 markers on the handlers.
Yeah, a bit of maybe a 2-3-2, but kind of switching everywhere. It's very loose, but it's proving effective so far.
They figure that they can get the Czechs to throw enough passes. Eventually, they'll turn it over. Vosicek into the middle. Playing through the foul is Kulikova.
Yeah, unusual to see no male players downfield in this zone. 4 ladies given the task of monitoring downfield. As you can see, this offense by the Czech team is very male-based. They're usually using 2 guys back to try and throw to their women.
Kochevek working with Blautova. Czechs need to get it off this line. They get a free shot there to Vosicek. Slow going here for the Czechs. Back to Vosicek, far sideline, and a drop. And that will happen. You make the somewhat inexperienced team throw enough passes as Germany now turns it over. Tina.
Yeah, good pressure initially there by the Germans. I think that's what they wanted from that zone defense. Not too much pressure on the swings, but trying to make them throw 100 passes and turn over.
So Czech Republic back on offense. Germany sticking with the same zone, doing a good job of moving that disc off the line and playing from the center of the field. Peter faking the hammer. Kuraszowicz. And Czech Republic a couple meters out of the end zone. Great grab from Peter. The blade into the zone for the Czech Republic as they put their second on the board. 3-2 Germany.
Peter and Yuri there doing really well commanding that offense. Interesting call by using that zone defense with the Germans. Haven't really seen much like it where they did 2 lads putting on the forces, knowing that the 2 male handlers are going to dominate, and then the women trying to shut things down downfield. But even with that, Yuri and Peter looking cool as ice, absorbing all that pressure and just marching down the field.
We've got the other Czech Republic teams representing out here, cheering on their mixed squad. Is the Czech Republic here to pull here in Copenhagen, Denmark, site of the 2015 European Ultimate Championships. This field also used for the wonderful Copenhagen tournament as Germany picks back up. Gronach working with Bernhard Otto. Looks like Czech Republic is now coming down in a zone of their own. Apologies, that's not Otto, that's Jakob Burr. Gronacher's doing a great job of slicing through that zone. Poach D from the Czechs. That disc floated a bit too much. And Andre Riedlo will pick up. Near layout D from the Germans. Contact on the play. But Jakim finding Dostal in the near end zone. Herring and timeout called from the Czechs. So Czech Republic looking to get the break here and tie this game up early, 3-3.
Yeah, great defensive pressure there. Another zone almost entirely different to the German one, with the girls putting on the force and the lads monitoring the middle of the field and eventually forcing that loose disc and coming up with it. The D-line handlers don't look as tight though for this Czech team. Looking a bit younger, not as confident, and they wonder if they have what it takes to calmly get this break, because they need it.
So the sun peeking through the clouds. It's been a, what the Germans would call a wechselhaft morning with some changing, shifting weather conditions. We had some downpours as the crowds rushing towards cover, but hopefully we'll see some sun later today and make for some nice play here in the Denmark summer.
I would call it a typical morning in Ireland. All Irish teams winning their games so far, suiting to this weather. But the sun coming out now, so they'll be running to the shade and piling on that sun cream. Setting up in a whole stack now, the Czech team. The Germans taking their time trying to suss out what they're going to do here.
It looks like it'll be a man defense. So disc is checked back in for the Czechs. Peter heading with it. Finding Riedlo underneath. Dishes back to Herring. Thinks about the long shot. It's not there. Herring up top to the big man. Dostal. Very, very fast disc into the end zone. Rachel Toshnerova not able to catch up to it.
Rachel, a fan favorite here at Sky Magazine. She's helped us out before, and we're delighted to see her on the field.
Yep, you may remember her commentary from Windmill Windup. She's also our on-field interviewer at World Ultimate Club Championships. But in her spare time, she plays Ultimate. Been playing since she was 12 years old for 3SB out of České Budějovice. And a dropped pass from the Germans. Absolutely fatal mistake. And the Czechs will take their time picking this up. This is their chance to tie it up. And they can't rush here. They need to put it in. Jumping into the end zone, Andre Riedlo for the Czech Republic. 3-3 and just an unfortunate drop. Jakob Burr was looking away when he caught that disc.
Yeah, that one came gift wrapped for the Czech team. They're not going to be handed scores like that very much. Did well to take it.
We see here in the replay, Andre Riedlo doing a great job. That high release, inside break, leading the dump right into the end zone. So Germany now back on offense. Can try to amend that mistake. Peter Kotyczowiec. Short pull right near the brick mark. Otto picks it up. And Czech Republic back in the zone. It's a 4-person cup. Bernhard Otto there will be the center handler. Try to move it with some short passes. Germany's going to need to swing here, use that full field. Frauenhof. Woodings. Frauenhof finding Botto underneath. Botto through the center of the cup, just a hole there as Woodings now controls in the center of the field. Woodings again. Nice give and go from the Germans as they work through this zone. Just meters out from the end zone now. And Czech Republic will not transition out of this. Frauenhof still looking for an option. Into the center for Somdalen. Otto now with it. Woodings faking. There's always an open option in this German zone. Back to Botto. And the Czechs doing a good job not to transition out here. Botto now over the top Germans, though, still with no clear option for this end zone strike. They need to give and go. And with the offhand score and a bit of patience, Germany puts it in. That's Kinga Agressi, the Hungarian, with the goal for Germany.
Yeah, Woody, monumental at that point. She moves with such purpose down the field. Always eyes on the disc and a focal part of this offense. Unusual, the Czechs sticking with that zone all the way to outside our end zone. You don't often see that. Most teams would transition, but maybe a good option, maybe not. They held them out for a while, but they're eventually able to find the needle in the haystack and get that goal.
I think this is Germany's game to lose, Liam. You mentioned both teams have mixed tradition, but Germany, a strong squad. The tryout process started back in October of last year, where they've cut it down to 50. Had another one in February where they determined the final roster. They've gone to a couple preparation tournaments. Came in third at Windmill Windup. And also went to G-Spot, where they finished in second place after what Coach Alan Clement called an embarrassing loss to the Get Horizontal All-Star team. So Czech Republic now back with the disc. Adam Laja. There's a man open deep, and the flick huck is going to sail too far. Sorry, that's no man. That's Lucy Shonova, the athletic receiver for the Czech Republic.
Yeah, if you feel it was put in on the field, Lucy's going to take that one down. She was moving so fast, getting yards and yards away from her defender, but that throw not executed well and sails out of bounds.
Lucy actually better known in the disc dog world than in the ultimate world. She's won several awards as a disc dogger. What a floaty disc, and Germany very, very lucky to come down with that one. Just a critical mistake. Lutz Neumann doing a good job of controlling it. Neumann finding Fuchs. McCullough, the Brit, back to Fuchs. Hudash, far side. McCullough with it again. Nice stump cut from the German, Stephanie Sauer. Floaty grab, and Germany's come down with a couple lucky ones. That's going to be a strip call. But Germany's really got to clean this up. You need crisp chest passes, especially in a game like this where you can't see it on the stream. There is a bit of wind, 10 to 15 kilometers per hour. That's a nice shot, though, to the back of the end zone from Lutz Neumann to Josef Fuchs. So Germany now up 5-3.
Yeah, Fuchs taking that down with grace. Beautiful catch. Just as Rosie was saying, there's wind, but from that throw and that catch, you wouldn't have thought so.
Neumann, looking at this again, does a great job of leading his receiver, letting the big man Fuchs come down with it on the box out. So Germany will talk about it on the line. You see their tradition here. This is something that a lot of teams have been doing throughout the years. They have all their players come out on the line, listen to what the captains say, so the sidelines know what to talk about when they get back on the line. So interesting piece of strategy for those of you out there that are watching, looking to implement maybe something like this in your own teams. In such a big tournament where you've got big rosters, the sideline help is absolutely critical. Have someone shouting in your ear the whole way down. Pole will sail out of bounds. So Peter Korysjovets will walk this back up to the brick mark. It looks like another zone from the Germans. So that's going to be an offsides call and a repoll.
Interesting article posted about that in Sky magazine quite recently.
Written by Liam, a bit too humble to call himself out. Liam Grant, my co-commentator, did write an article for Sky magazine. If you're interested in the issue of Liam, why don't you go ahead and explain your argument for
the Germans here don't want to be offside again, because if they are, they will get penalized, and the Czechs will be able to take the pull from the halfway mark. And it's a bit of controversy, as some people feeling like myself that kind of contradicts the ethos of Ultimate, that if you make a mistake, it wasn't intentional, and you should just have a bit of a redo of the situation as opposed to any penalizing. Now,
although what's the difference of something like in tennis, where you don't intentionally try to be offsides, but yet there is, if you get a fault, and you just got to make sure not to do it again.
I don't think there's the same spirit of the game in tennis as Ultimate. I don't know if I'd make that comparison. But yeah, you don't see it really in any other part of the game, any sort of penalization. So yeah, it's up for debate whether that should be there for offsides.
Czech Republic, meanwhile, halfway up the field. Zuzana Grikova. Vulcun leading his receiver. Holacek now with it, far side of the field. No movement from the Czechs. Vulcun back with it. Kodachevets hammer into the end zone. Beautiful disc from Peter, the captain. Kodachevets to bring Czech Republic team to within one. 5-4 Germany.
Yeah, astonishing stuff there from the Czechs. They seem to be so stagnant on offense, but really they just communicate very well. And any movement's done with intent, and usually they get it off. The handlers just a little dink back, they get it off. One cut to their break side upfield, they get the hammer, and that's how they work. They leave space for each other. They really communicate visually as who's going to be involved, and it's working well for them, Liam.
So not too much intensity seen in this game so far. A lot of zone being played. There's a little bit of wind out there on the field, as we said before, 10 to 15 kilometers per hour out here in sunny but cloudy Copenhagen.
Sunny for how long, Liam? We can only count the minutes, I'd say, at this stage.
Hoping that the next rain shower doesn't come through. So pull goes up. Bernhard Otto will put it into Gronacher. Gronacher, only 24, has been playing Ultimate since 2001. And looking at his throws, you see it very, very silky working here against the zone. Through the middle of the cup. Great job to find that hole. McCulloch is open on the near side, but they won't find her. She's got a tall poach. So Germany doing a good job of using the whole field. Nolte back to Gronacher. Into Otto. Germany using the crash from behind, and Gronacher gets a bit nonchalant there as he offers that disc up to Bernhard Otto. Just telegraphs it enough for the disc to come through. Czechs working back with it again. Riedlo. Dostal. Riedlo into the middle, going up line. It's not there. Back to Dostal. Dostal, it's a break into the end zone, but a nice D from Germany. It's going to be a strip call.
Not sure about that one, Liam. Bit of confusion there. I think the female player in the front of the end zone could have just caught it, but left it off, and I think the German hand might have got there first. We'll see if we get a replay.
As always, the question, did you have possession of the disc? And what does possession mean? Generally accepted, the rotation stops. So that's what the player's got to ask himself. Did the rotation stop?
Doesn't look like a resolution's coming anytime soon, Rosie.
So some movement. And we'll see what happens with this disc. It's going to be a contested strip, so disc will go back to Marek Dostal, the handler, being marked by Bernhard Otto. So after a long stoppage, play finally restarts with Dostal. A great upline cuts from the big man. And Dostal and Riedlo doing a fantastic job of working together. Suddenly Czech Republic back in it. They've tied this game up 5-5 with Germany.
Yeah, we got a cracking game in our hands, Liam. Tying it up there, textbook offense, swinging and then hitting that continuation. Maybe a bit better option than the goal that was disallowed. So, yeah, really big game in our hands. 5-5, the Czechs taking care of business.
Both teams will talk it over. Just a careless mistake from Kronacher. He's been playing well, generally against the zone, but can never let up too much. So the wind continues to blow in Copenhagen. This pool play game in the mixed division. Pull coming down from the Czechs. That one's going to float and give them time to catch up. Kronacher centers the disc. Far side to Vulcun. Sent deep. What a great disc. Using the wind, Christian Hedenius pulls it down for Germany. And they'd like to see some more of those. Quick, efficient offense from the Germans.
Yeah, their deep shots have been clinical so far in this game, Rosie, and it's why they're in the lead right now. Czechs haven't opened up their deep game at all, but the Germans looking phenomenal in that spectrum of their game.
The wind has really picked up in the last few seconds, now blowing about 25 kilometers per hour, so we'll see what the teams do to adjust here in the wind. That shot, though, not very much affected. Did a great job of using the wind to one's advantage, floating it up there for Hedenius, the receiver.
Yeah, the Deutsch having no problem lashing it deep with perfection. Good stuff. The Czechs need to shut that down.
Just looking around the division. Got Russia tied up with Austria 3-3. In the mixed division, Russia Open currently being beaten by France Open 5-4. GB Mix soundly taking care of Hungary 9-1. GB Open taking care of Spain 9-4. As Czech Republic works it back up to the brick mark. Nice IO break to the center. That's a deep puck. Shonova reels it down. Another beautiful disc, this time from the Czechs, refusing to go away as they tie it back up 6-6.
Anything you can do, I can do better is what the Czechs are saying. Taking a leaf out of the Germans' book and lashing it deep. 2 very quick points and great offense from both teams.
Take another look at this replay. Shonova tracking it down. And again, that's what we call using the wind to your advantage. It's that nice IO, the perfect amount of float right into Shonova's hands, the disc dogger.
Yeah, she has no problem sniffing out those deep shots, Rosie. An absolute hound on the field.
Pull goes up from the Czechs. It's a short pull. Kronacher stops the roll. Kronacher looking for Bernhard Otto, having a hard time getting free. Finally does. Into the center to Fraunhofer. Back to Botto. Botto wants to restart play. Looking for the dump, gets it off. Somdalen back to Botto. Too far in the wind. Having a tough time adjusting. As this wind picks up, expect to see more turns from both teams. Riedlo. Looking for the dump. IO break, too far. Bernhard Otto wastes no time in picking up this disc into Fraunhofer, wide open underneath. He is absolutely poached, no one on him. Kronacher now with it. Near the enemy's brick. Run through D from the Czechs. Rudlow back with it. Czech Republic needs to take their time and work this one back down the field. Andre Rudlow puts it into Tožnerova. And the flick, that's gonna float. She needs to box out. The D from behind, that'll be a foul call. That'll be an uncontested foul. So Hradecka with the disc now on the goal line. Czech Republic looking to go ahead by 1. Hradecka into the center for Tožnerova, offers it up to her on a saucer.
Petter Herring there with the great poach defense, and that's what both teams I think need to implement more. There's some great cutting downfield, really doing some great fakes that people are really finding it hard to stick with their man. But Petter there poaching off and helping out his other defender, and you can see that's where these are most likely going to come in this game. Both teams are so good at cutting down the field that sticking with your man is almost too difficult. That it's more help defense is what both teams need to implement, and doing it well there, the Czechs.
So Czech Republic in the lead for the first time this game. Off some careless mistakes from Germany. See again the foul call from Hradecka. Martin Liepert, the 3SB player from České Budějovice, on the pole for the Czechs. Bonholt with it for the Germans. German dumps standing very, very close. Gets it into Andres Peterson. Peterson snatched out of the air from Woodings, who sends it deep. Not the intended receiver, it looks like, but works out anyway for Kaya Dresen. Dresen looking for Peterson. That's a D from Riedlo. Great read from the big man. So Liepert will pick back up. Checks in a nice, neat vertical stack. Riedlo wants the deep shot there. No one going deep. Back to Liepert. No cuts from the Czechs. Near drop. Serbova back to Liepert. Windy out there. Leapert's getting absolutely nothing. Finally gets it in. Physical defense from the Germans. Liepert, timeout. And he does not like what he sees from this Czech offense. There's no cuts from the back of the stack. Very, very frustrating for the young man.
Yeah, I'm sure you could sense the frustration at home. He was flailing his arms around, calling at his downfield cutters to give him options, and there wasn't a lot there, so a good call. The Czech defense doing well so far, just looking a little more audacious than the Germans, throwing arms in everywhere, just being a bit more spontaneous, getting in the mix, and generating those turns.
So both teams will take a timeout now as we near halftime here at the European Ultimate Championships in windy Copenhagen, Denmark. This is Liam Rosen here with Liam Grant. I'd love to hear from you on Twitter. We will be checking what you have to say. My Twitter username, skied_Liam Rosen. That's LIAMROSEN. Send me a message on there and we'll try to read them out live on air. Shout out to our production team, the Finnish boys from Kepit, Fan Seat, Skied Magazine co-production, Mike Palmer doing a great job there on the camera. Lending his Australian work ethic to the team as we'll come back in from the timeout. So Czechs have now transitioned to a horizontal stack. The vertical was just not working for them. They weren't seeing the cuts that they needed. But Germany, if you notice, is doing a great job of bracketing, and they're now poaching right off that third handler. Czechs taking advantage of the poach. Serbova back to Riedlo. Riedlo really wants the deep option there. It's tough in the wind, but not really seeing anything. And this defense is pretty impressive from the Germans. Serbova. Nothing there. Looking for Liepert into traffic. That's a very, very tough throw with 3 German defenders there.
The Deutsch doing really well to set up that temporary double coverage at the start of that point where they came in from the timeout, and did well throughout the point to help each other out. And
Boom with the blade! What was that? And practicing again his flick form in the wind. That's a Gultimate throw, if I've ever seen one. I don't know if the Germans play much Gultimate.
Yeah, that disc hang in the air like a piano, Nemo, that was flying to the ground.
And even the American Tino Woodings can't make a read on it. So Czech will pick it up and go the other way. Czech Republic, though, having a really tough time getting past this German defense. That could be a Callahan. Not there, but Peterson tracks it down. Now into Woodings. Slippery German receivers all over the place in the end zone. Woodings, the high release, and a layout D from Riedlo. That's his second of the game. What a fantastic play from Andre Riedlo. Strip called as Liepert picks it back up.
Goodness gracious me, Lima, what a play. This man is throwing himself around the field. Fantastic to watch. And that's what the Czechs need. I'm loving that play. And now he lashes it deep.
Liepert. I can do nothing but laugh at some of these throw decisions. Not out of, just out of jest. It's been, again, hate to use the word interesting, but several interesting decisions and some very, very sloppy play now from the Germans, perhaps all being inspired by each other. So teams just need to slow it down. There's a bit of wind. Think about your throws. Put some edge on that disc. Liepert now back controlling it. Riedlo up line to Liepert. Liepert laying out to save that one. He's now trapped on the line. Io break. It's going to run too far. Serbova, that's going to be a strip, and I think that's a good call.
I would have to agree, Liam. It seemed like she got her hands to that, especially with the defender running towards her and her coming to meet the disc. It'd be unusual for her not to get her hands to that. And yeah, it's an uncontested strip there.
So Serbova back with the disc. Karazic. Now far side. Too far in this wind for the Czechs, so turning into a bit of a sloppy point with a couple of turns on either side. This is a big mental point, as we've talked about. If you can win a point with multiple turns, especially going so close into half, if Czech Republic takes this one, they can do a great job. As we see a nice D from Jan Vastrova, absolutely gets up for the block.
Both defenses doing really well so far, but neither team able to click on offense.
Pick called in the stack.
Quite different comparing the points we saw earlier where there's this crisp clinical offense. This has turned into a bit of a dogfight.
Read low. No dumps. Gets it into Liepert. Nice job in the sky. Liepert in the end zone. Woodings is there. Woodings knocks it out of the air.
Like a thief of the night, Woodings comes out of there with that disc. Absolutely fantastic. She's having a storm of a game, keeping the Germans in this one.
Tina Woodings, the former showdown player, doing work for the German team.
I heard she might be going back to America to play with Showdown as well, so maybe a current Showdown player.
Oh. Another drop from Burr, absolutely brutal. That is his second drop of the game right on the German goal line, and that's gotta hurt.
And what's even worse is he looked down and kind of took a bit of a hit as he got it, and his receiver had already scored before he time reacted. As the coach would say, don't worry about those drops. Okay, he's had 2 this game, but you can't let that get to your head because you're gonna slack off on defense. If that happens, you gotta pull your chin up and go get that disc back.
Gonna take another look at the replay here, just the bobble, and the Czechs pick up, and before Burr can react, go right the other way. So Czech Republic opening up this lead, 8-6.
Yeah, I wouldn't fault him for the drop. You know, it happens, but you can't stay in the ground of disappointment when your man's going to get the goal.
Here we go. Pull comes off from the Czechs, looking to take it to half. Gronacha to Bodo. Czech Republic, Liam out here in another zone. Looks a bit different from the ones that they've run before.
Yeah, it kind of seems quite a loose 4-man cup. Often with the girls in the mark, and they get a turn.
It's these careless mistakes that are costing Germany the game. So Czechs will take their time. Peter Kotishevets. Kotishevets. I'm being chided by the Czechs here in the stands for my pronunciation. Peters pivoting all the way, the hammer across the field. Very nice looking disc. Off the line, it's gonna be too low. It looks like there was a call though, so play will stop. And Czech's very lucky to get a redo there. So play restarts. Czech Republic on the line, wait to take it to half. Nice disc. Kotishevets brings it to halftime, and Czech Republic's got to feel great about that half. Starting down 3-1, they've come all the way back with some nice defense. Forced the Germans to make a couple of turns, and Germany finds themselves on their heels.
Yeah, the Czechs has been a little more tenacious at times and really bringing it to the Germans. The Germans trying to play cool and collective, but they've just lost focus at times and dropping simple discs. And that's been the real cost of them. Need to play with a bit more confidence, a bit more swag. And they have what it takes to beat this Czech team, but they're trailing now.
So Liam Rosen here with Liam Grant, Sky Magazine's coverage of the 2015 European Ultimate Championships in Copenhagen, Denmark, presented to you by Sky Magazine and Elisa TV. Stick with us as we go into halftime, and we'll join you again on the other side. So coming back in after halftime, Liam Rosen here from Sky Magazine with Liam Grant. As we see a rain now start to fall, this weather has been very, very wechselhaft this morning. Changing around, rain, sun, you never know what you're gonna get.
This game has been very Wechselhaft as well, Rosie.
Indeed, we saw the Czechs coming off to it early. Oh, it looks like a German player just got stepped on as they're bringing the disc up. He's actually smiling about it. I'm not quite sure what happened, but bit of a strange mistake.
Bit of argy-bargy, as they call it at home, Rosie.
So Germany coming out in the zone. Czechs will look to move it. Wind picking up along with the rain. Kodachovec. Back to Holacek. Holacek. Center to the Holacek. Czech handlers standing very, very close to each other. Be nice for them to take a bit wider stance and just open up that field. What they're actually doing is, if you look, letting the Germans on defense, they're running this arrowhead zone, able to poach in. If you expand the field, you can find those holes, as we see a drop from the Czech squad. So Neumann picks up, and he's going quickly the other way. Sawa. Far side, Fuchs. Germans in a vertical stack. Fuchs gets it in. Backhand all the way across the field. Neumann laying out to secure that one. Neumann flick all the way across. Fuchs is there. Can he read it? What a read from Fuchs.
Goodness gracious me. Come at the man, come at the hour. What a grab. Has it just in the air. Clutching onto that one. Fantastic stuff there.
Especially in this rain. Not easy to grab onto a disc like that, but Germany is going to need more plays such as that one if they're going to come back in this game. Now 9-7, Czech Republic still up 2.
Yeah, orgasmic offense there from the Germans. 2 amazing catches, and that's what they need in this rain and down. They need to gather up all the scraps, you know. They can't let any loose disc go in caught.
So the German line walks off as they prepare to pull. 9-7. Czech Republic still leads. These two teams have seen each other before. Earlier this year at Windmill Windup, the Czechs beat them earlier in the tournament, but the Germans won when it mattered in the knockout round. Nice pull from the Germans, taken down by Kodachovec. Germany in another zone.
Yeah, using those 2 men in the force again, as we saw in the last point, to work successfully for them. And female players mostly downfield, shutting off the unders, and 1 lad back. So it worked well for the last time. Just contained the Czechs and waiting for that unforced error.
Vozicek working with it. He had a nice grab earlier. Is this wind picking up down the field? Grekova, Vozicek. Too far, bobble disc, and the Germans with the D. That'll be thrown deep right away. That's way too far in this wind, but again, not a bad look for the Germans. They tried to fast break off that. Now, what they have is the Czechs trapped in the corner on a crosswind. They'll look to set up the zone again and trap them on the same line.
Yeah, I like that tenacity, Liam. It worked in the last point, maybe not paying off there, but I still think that was a good option, just a little bit overthrown. And it really is bringing some energy to this German offense.
Czechs will take their time to walk it up as we see the replay of the tipped disc from the Czechs. Petr Kotešovec, the captain leader of this team, walks it back up, fighting against the German zone. Vulcun. Czechs trapped in their own end zone. Finally able to get it off. Laja. Kotešovec back to Laja. Into the center. Vulcun. Czech Republic working it down the field. Kotešovec back to Vulcun. Lucy. Short passes now. Vulcun again controlling it. Dumps all the way back around. Rain really starting to come down now with the clouds in the background. Another tip disc, but Vulcun so lucky to come down with it. The Czech Republic really having a hard time getting open. All they need is one shot like that to break it free and run their fast break offense. And that'll be it for the Czechs. Great patience from the Czech squad to bring it all the way back down.
Yeah, tip my hat to them there. Great patience in that offense. I think that's what they need to do to beat the zone. It's just no unforced errors, you know. The Germans are giving them easy options, and before they haven't been able to execute them, but doing well there. With the rain picking up as well, to keep the hand steady and punch that one in.
So there's weather like this game. Absolutely back and forth. You never know where it's going to be. A team's just having to deal with it. Remember, this is the middle of the summer, and what I've been told is one of Copenhagen's worst winters in the last many years, maybe as much as the last decade.
Yeah, bad summers here, but good chocolate milk, as we've learned. Free chocolate milk for all the volunteers, which I'm enjoying immensely.
And you know what's nice about it? It doesn't have too much added sugar, like something in America might be back. It's natural. It's all natural, and that's what I like about it. So Germany back in, working against another Czech zone. Tojnerova on the mark. Near D, Kronacha controls it again. This is the Czechs' loose four-person cup. Best way to beat this, obviously, is over the top. See if what Kronacha can do with it. Solmanen. Oof, very close. Finding Bornholt. Solmdalen again. Slow offense from the Germans. Here. Here! Oh! The lad's been hit in the face with the disc.
Bit of a blunder there. Taking one smack in the noggin. Good defensive pressure from the Czechs. I think there's been some reviving on the field.
Good to see the love there between teammates, and you absolutely hate for that to happen, especially when it's just picked up and gotten cold. Let's see the replay here. She just tries to, she's not even looking at the man and just trying to get it in the center of the field. It hurts to laugh at something like that, but gonna be a turnover, so Czech Republic going the other way. Your man Riedlo on the near sideline for Radecka. Back to Riedlo. Riedlo just tries to one-hand it. We've seen a couple of those drops so far where the player's looking to make the next move instead of concentrating right on the disc. So Czech Republic sets up the zone again. Bornholt. Back to Kronacha. Kronacha, very, very patient handler, as you can see. He might be looking to go over the top. And for all his patience, certainly wasn't a very good throw. Blades it right into the ground.
Maybe still feeling that head injury occurred moments ago.
Dostal. Back to Riedlo. Relow looking for Dostal. The dump! Snatched out of the air by the Germans. And they'll send this one deep. This is going to float and be too far. And both teams misjudging the amount of wind.
Yeah, the Deutschland team has become very Huck happy. They had some success there earlier, but maybe just taking it a bit too far now. They had a lot of time there, maybe didn't need to throw that one.
Angers, read low. Working it back. Jarlimova. Out to space, back to Riedlow. That's Dostal with it now. Riedlow looking into the center. Another one-handed grab dropped by Jaromir Jachim. Checks back out of the zone. Kronacher swings to Fraunhofer. Fraunhofer, a nice disc. Nolte now. Back to Fraunhofer. Immediate turn. Very fast play from the Germans. Contrast to what we had seen earlier in the point, and that works out for them. So they're back to within 2, 10-8. Czech Republic up.
Yeah, a bit more chilly there. Taking her time and eventually threading the needle for that nice goal there.
Sun starting to peek back through the clouds. As the teams walk it off. A beautiful sight here at Valby Idrettspark in Copenhagen. The metro trains flying through the landscape behind us. What more could you ask for, Liam? Beautiful green fields, the whole European Ultimate community out here in one place. Teams warming up. This is truly the best sport on the planet.
Yeah, what I could ask for is calcaneus that isn't fractured. That's the only thing that's missing, a working heel bone for poor old Liam Grant. But yeah, fantastic to be up here in the back of the grandstand. Sun, rain, trains, everything's happening here. A visual cacophony.
So Czech Republic working it back up the field. Both teams opting to play the zone defense. Vosicek to Holecek. Laja back to Vosicek. Swung far side. Holecek now with it. And the Czechs just content to swing it through the field. This one's a bit too far, but it's going to be saved. Not the intended receiver there. Vosicek far side. Into the middle, not too much pressure here from the Germans. Laja back to Vosicek. Laja, fast play. Vosicek just being left wide open, bump on the mark. Could have taken that free throw. Holecek jumps it in. It's being called out though by the German coach, so that's not. And Holecek does it again. Radka Blahautova on the score. Czech Republic 11, Germany 8.
Time running out for the Germans. They need to step up their game. I think you need to switch out of that zone defense. The Czechs looking too comfortable now, and they've figured out the holes, and they need to try something different, be a little more aggressive, put more pressure on the Czech team.
There's going to be a timeout call now by the Germans. We'll discuss just that. Liam, I up within game. Maybe zones can work for a little bit because you may not be used to it. They'll force you to throw a lot of throws. Eventually, though, every team will figure it out. And the point of the zone can't just be, well, force them to throw a lot of throws, because the best teams can throw it down the field 50, 60 times most of the time. So you've really got to try something else, and you've got to force them to make the turnover. So Germany needs to make up these 3 breaks to come back in the game. 11-8 is a fairly wide gap, especially this late.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, Rosie.
So apologies, that was not a timeout. The Germans just had a quick talk, though, there on the line. Kronach, Nolta wide open. Nolta thinks about ripping it deep. It's not there. The fake, it's got to be high stall by now. Nolta finding the calm hands of Kronach. Kronach, Vulcun, she's been playing Ultimate for only 1 year. Bernhard Otto sends it deep. Waiting for the box out. What a great read. Fantastic work from Christian Hedenius, his second goal of the game.
Both players mistiming their jump on their first goal, but keeping his balance and able to take that one down the second time. Great stuff from the player there, that's what they need.
Hedenius actually loses position on this one, but a great awareness by him. Fair play to toe the line and make up for it.
Yeah, we saw the Germans as well after that first pass, setting up a bit of a side stack and giving Francie Nolta a lot of room to make that first cut. You'll see them doing a lot. She's an incredibly athletic player, and given the space, she can get free no matter what. Now it's all about this Deutsch D-line. What are they going to do? Are they going to stick with the zone, or are they going to come down man? But they have to come up with the answers now.
Keep sending in your shout-outs to us on Twitter, Skied_Liam Rosen. We'll read them out live on the air. That's Liamrosen. So Czechs coming down. Germans are going to play man as predicted, but they are poaching off. This is a new one that we haven't seen before from the Czechs. Has 4 handlers and only 3 downfield. Laja looking to put it deep. Sending it all the way back. She's got to get a good read on this disc. Nice work from Kulikova. Kulikova just needs to put it out to space, and she does! Great work from the Czechs. Karolina Zubata with her first goal of the game. Czech Republic back up 3, 12-9 in this game to 17.
Yeah, Deutschland going for the one-on-one defense there, and Czechs using their mismatch with the females, getting that goal pretty much themselves. Fair play to the women there.
We see here on this replay, again, all it is just an easy throw out to space. That's all the Czech Republic needs, and a very nice read from the Czechs, as well as a bit of a box out there using the body. And she's just been a solid receiver for them all game, Teresa Kulikova.
Yeah, I think that's why they're using that zone initially, was have one fella back to help out the ladies, as the Czech guides some really good throws, really like hitting the female receivers. That's how their offense really works. So they tried the zone to switch that up, it wasn't working, went back to one-on-one, and Czechs do what they do best.
Czech Republic pulling back off to the Germans. Otto to Bonholm. Frauenhof sliding it in. Lots of room now for the Germans to hit these unders. Somdalen floats too far. And another mistake from the German squad. Flick hook all the way. Tojnerova is open, but this one's gonna sail out of bounds, not adjusting for the wind.
Yeah, that one drifted into a field of corn there, well out of bounds.
So Bernhard Otto, the oldest player on this German team, one of the captains, will put this disc back into play. Otto looking for the dump. It looks like there's a pick call downfield. Otto got bailed out on that. His dump was not able to get free, just slipping around on the wet grass. Otto sends it deep. That's a blady throw. Not a great look from Bernhard Otto, especially in this wind. The big man, Marek Dostal, is going to put it back into play. All the way around the field, a tipped D. And Riedlo's going to come back up with it. Peter Herring, the oldest player on this Czech squad.
That was an unusual play we saw there earlier. Franzi Nota getting a tip on that disc and macking it to the Czech player.
And Herring, a great work to get the D back, and another point with multiple turns from both sides. Radecka, timeout called by Dostal, the tall man. So both teams gonna talk it over, figure out, and Fraunhofer making the signal, calm it down. That is what both teams need to do. Thomas Klink on Twitter says, worst summer in 15 years or more. We are so sorry. You know what, Thomas? I don't care. I'm having a great time here in Copenhagen anyway. I love the food. I love the beautiful city. We don't need warm weather to have a good time.
If you ask me, Thomas, you need to step up your game. That's just not good enough. Right, we came a long way. You should have the sun out for us. Pull up your socks, get it together, and pull those clouds out of the way.
Dalamil Fischar says, Riedlo for president. I can agree with that. Has having a fantastic game. 2 layout Ds, some solid handler play. He's one of the reasons why Czech Republic is up in this game.
I may not have my own Twitter account, but I have access to the Sky Magazine Twitter account, so you can hit up Beam Grant as well at Sky Magazine. And you should use the hashtag at EUC 2015 as well.
You guys need a letter
For this netting over here, needs to be taken off. Yeah, not taken completely, but just back to this way so we can see. Thanks. All right. So coming back in after the timeout, checks in a vertical stack. Dostal's going to put the disc back into play. Dostal's looking for the deep shot to Riedlo. Riedlo didn't think he was going to put it, had stopped, but Fraunhofer just needs an easy push to make that block. So Bernhard Otto back with it, and the Germans will have another chance. Germans in a very close vertical stack now. Nice job from Bornhold to get open on that first cut. Riedlo, though, good defense. It looks like a foul will be called here. He's going to think about it. There was contact. The question is, did the contact force him or make him drop that disc? And that's a hard call.
Yeah, I think he's retracted now. I think he dropped it all by himself.
And I think that's very fair. I think it's very fair to say, hey, I don't know what happened there. I need to look at it. And, you know, looking, again, that would not have been a great foul call. The contact was minimal. He had already lost possession of the disc at the time. So very, very play. I would be giving the Germans a higher spirit score, especially for that play. And an awful disc from the Czechs. And Germans, anyway, will go the other way. So Bernhard Otto Looking for the undercut, layout D from Marek Dostal. Big men getting the work done for the Czechs.
In terms of spear score, well, Irish teams always say it's always good to make a call and immediately retract to make you seem like you're very spirited. It's a tactic we often use.
Oh, and a foot block from the Germans. Frauenhof picks up with it, and Germans here are off to the races, streaking deep, but Bodo controlling it. Back to Frauenhof. Finding Bernhard Otto. Otto. Frauenhof again. Back to Otto. Somdalen looking for a dump. Anything out to space. Controlled by Martin Bornholt. Bornholt dumps back to Otto. Otto into Frauenhof. Germans very close now. Put it into the end zone. 12-10 Czech Republic. So about 86 minutes in this 100-minute game, then we'll be at cap. And that point, a bit sloppy, a couple of turnovers on both sides. Watch this replay again. Otto coming in, but Dostal getting the beautiful layout D. So Coach Alan Clement played for the University of Texas back in the day. Plays in Germany for the Heidies. He's the coach of the U23 mixed team and the regular German mixed team as well. So the pole comes back off. Peter Kodashowicz picking back up. Laja. Laja into Lucy Shanova, the world champion disc dogger. Shanova back to Kodashowicz. Into the middle. Shonova doing work. Inside break. Kodashowicz, foul called. It looks like that could have been a push off. Wind still strong on this show pitch. Gonna be Sauer marking up on Shanova. Shanova, very, very fast disc, Elijah. They're lucky to get that one. Kodashowicz all the way across the field to Grikova. Finds Laja on the dump. Grikova again. Grikova under the center. Not a great throw, and Germans now with a very short field. Woodings, the showdown player, pivots, puts it right into Andres Peterson, toes the line, and that's going to be a goal. Seemingly no defensive pressure there from the Czechs, and they walk off stunned. And they've just let Germany back in this game. Czechs now within 1 goal.
Yeah, great stuff there from Woody, picking that one up, commanding the offense, getting a bit high in the stall count, but just hitting the man in the front of the stack there with ease.
So the Czechs chanting for their teams. We've got a big Czech Republic representation here in the stands.
Yeah, here's the Czech women's team who've joined us. 10 minutes remaining in this nail-biter of a game. That pull really hanging.
So a short pull. Czechs will control it again. Absolute poach on the other end of the field on Grikova. Grikova puts it deep. Shanova is there. Can she walk it in? And she does. That is a goal for the Czechs, making it look easy. Going back up by 2, 13-11, Czech Republic over Germany in this mixed division pool play game.
Grigovic and Shanova, two anchors of this team. Grigovic seems has limbs that go on forever. That disc looked a bit loose, but not for this woman. And finding her trusted receiver there with a beautiful feathery flick to the end zone.
And Shanova, it's not just her dogs that can go and fetch discs. She's doing a great job on the receiving end as well. Very athletic receiver for this Czech team.
I'm sure she's regretting putting her dog information down on the stat sheet. We've been,
as the whole world laughs at us. No, we do thank the teams that have provided us a bit of background information. It's always fun to see what players do outside of the sport. This is another thing I really value about Ultimate Liam. It's an amateur sport. All of these players have full-time jobs back at home. No one in Europe is being paid to play this sport professionally. So this is truly a game of honor as Germany picks back up. Frauenhof receiving the disc from Otto. Frauenhof, big under from Nolte, finds Frauenhof in a power position. Forehand hook from Frauenhof, but it's too far.
Yeah.
The young one, Valzak, was going for it, but in this win, those discs have not proven to work.
Deutsch team having great success using that slice stack first off and letting Franzi Nolte get free. And they did that there and just jamming it away after a big undergain. I think they can use that a bit more, isolate their mismatches on the open side and just work it a bit more patient.
A drop from the Czechs, short field from the Germans. Otto with it right on the goal line. Can he find someone? He does. So Germany with another point, back to within one.
A costly slip up there from the Czechs. They've been working so hard for every point. Just to hand one back to the Deutsch team like that, they'll be disappointed with themselves.
If you're following us on Twitter, send us a shout out, Skyd _ Liam Rosen, SKYD _ LAIM ROSEN, and we'll read it out live on air. We want to hear from you, especially if you're listening in from the Czech Republic or Germany. Got lots of Czech fans in the stands joining us for this game. And it looks, Liam, as though this game may go down to the wire. The Germans refusing to give up.
Yeah, the Germans have a lot of experience in this position. That you can see them going all out for these last few minutes. But the power in the Czechs' hands. Do they have the nerves of steel to win this one?
Pull going off from the Germans. That's a very, very floaty pull. It's going to give them time to set up their offense. So the Czechs will take their time with it, coming out again in a horizontal stack. Initial play call doesn't work. Pedro finds it down the sideline anyway. Patience is going to be on the docket now for the Czechs. They need to prove that they can hold here on this offensive point as Fuchs gets the D. Fantastic D from Fuchs there. He's been big this game. He had the great reception on the other end. Neumann into the center for Kaya Dresing. Back into the hands of Lutz Neumann. Neumann with a backhand break. Hudash. Slow offense again from the Germans. Wüstheinrich. And that disc, just need to put a little bit more touch on it. I don't think that was Fuchs' fault at all on the drop. That was just a very, very tough one to catch from a meter away. You can't put that much spin on it. That disc is going to go long right away. That's going to float too far. We've seen in that end zone, the wind is going from right to left on your screen, so that's going to pull those discs down further to the ground than one would expect. The Germans looking confident here. I don't think there's any doubt in their minds they can come back and win this game. Nice disc from the Germans. Neumann, on the other hand, not great. Fuchs almost has a play on it, though. But Kodachovets goes the other way. Still windy out here. Blautova, the forehand. And that's the hook. That's the right amount of spin to put on it. This, though, is also going to sail too far for the Czechs. Karolina Zubata can't catch up to it.
Yeah, that put a bit better. One of the better ones we've seen. Kind of cutting into the wind, so hanging a little better. But the receiver just didn't have the legs, but it wasn't far off.
So Germans will take their time walking this back up. Now in a vertical stack, we look again at not a great huck earlier from Neumann. It was one of those, hey, I'm in power position, I might as well take the shot. But Fuchs, with the hustle, to his credit, almost comes back and gets the play on it. Hedenius going the other way. The sideline to Fuchs. Fuchs is actually out of bounds, not called. Neumann looking for the up line cut all the way across the field. That was a nice save. Hedenius is stall called on the field. Contested stall, so disc will come back in. Neumann's not going to have much time to get this one off.
It's one of those rules where it's often contested, I feel. It's unusual not to have a contested stall out. We saw in under 23s, we were timing them, and we had a contested stall out of 6.4.
As the disc goes up from Neumann to Fuchs. Fuchs doing a great job to box out, and he earned that one even with the bobble. That's one of the few successful box outs that we've seen in this tournament so far. So Neumann, forced with a short amount of time to get it off, eventually just goes for the huck.
Yeah, when it's windy and you're in stall 8, coming back in, often not a bad idea, especially with the big, tall German receivers. This one bobbling all over the place, but doing as well to keep his eye on the disc.
And look again at that nice box out. Now, if you're watching this, you are a receiver looking to improve your deep game. The best thing you can learn, especially if you're not known as a jumper, is the box out. Get your body in the way, use everything you have, create some space between you and your receiver. As we see both teams take a timeout during this critical moment in the game. The cap is going to go on here, so it's going to be a game to 14.
Yes, I believe so, and this is an absolute nail-biter. Taking my breath away right now. Who can muster up the courage?
Is it a game to 15 or 14? Can you verify? Well, time is up right now. We've just confirmed with the scorekeepers it is actually going to be a game to 15, not 14. So at least 2 more points in this game. Again, this is going to come down right to the wire. always fun here at the European Ultimate Championships between two evenly matched teams. And so far, we're doing well and picking the live stream. We saw that game last time, Liam, go right down the wire. Finland and Russia has a fantastic match.
Yeah, I don't think my heart could take any more of this. We've had two intensely close games.
Andres Peterson, great pull. The American out of Columbia High School, New Jersey, lived in Germany for over 4 years now. Czech Republic on their heels a bit here. Even though they were leading, you got to imagine the nerves are tough as they're struggling to get it out of their own end zone. There was a call on the field. Disc is going to stay with Vosicek. So after some discussion, Disc check back in. Vosicek finds the under. Raditska underneath. To Katesovitz, unable to make the grab is Lucy Shanova. So Germany with a chance to come back and lead this game for a first time in a long while.
Yeah, that disc just didn't have enough spice to cut through the wind there. Needed a bit more IO in that flick, and they just got, the underside of the wind got caught by the wind and sailing into the turf.
And you really wonder about the depth of this Czech team now. They're looking a bit tired and maybe nerves getting to them a bit. So we'll see if we can get the defense back here. Jakob Burr. Putting this disc into play. He's going to send it deep. Burr, that one is floating. But Katesovitz doesn't even look like he touched it. But it is going to go back into play right there, the exit point. That's a critical turf for the Czech Republic, so Germany goes the other way. Peterson finding Woodings. Woodings swings back around. Valczak, too far. Both teams urging patience. Katesovitz. Too high. Beautiful reception from the Czechs. Now he's got to stay chilly. Katesovitz again thinking about the huck. It's not there. They're going to work it up the field. Grikova now back to Katesovitz. Vosicek. Dumps to Katesovitz. He takes the deep shot this time again. Liam, as you say, not enough spice on that disc as it blades out of bounds.
Yeah, deja vu there. I can't believe he went for that same choice of throw again. He didn't have it the first time, and he sure didn't have it the second time either. And he was so free on the dump there. Peter, a lot of room to run the offense. I thought he could be a bit more patient and work it up.
So Andres Peterson now taking his time. Peterson, high disc into the air. And Germany has done the same thing, just giving it right back away. Katesovitz bringing it down out of the air. Grikova. The under to Shanova. Shanova, the blade! Not there. There may be a call. No call. Will be a turnover. Peterson plays it right away into Woodings. Woodings finding Burr. Burr working with Peterson. Germans now on a bit of a run. Back to Burr. Germans shying away. And the Czechs falling down. That is a critical turning point for Germany.
Yeah, it's great offense there at the end of that point for the Germans. Building up momentum, very patient, taking the right passes, and really putting it to the Czechs now. There's also a downwind point, so you can see the Germans pretty much hucking it every time they're at their end zone, playing a bit of pirate code, as we call it in Ireland. If you're on your own end zone playing downwind, you don't want to turn it over up there, so you might as well lash it deep. And the tactic worked, I think, this time for them.
So after a couple turns on both sides, the teams managed to put it in. Germany up 14-13. This game will be to 15. We have reached cap here on Sky Magazine's coverage of the European Ultimate Championships in Copenhagen. Again, keep those shout-outs coming on Twitter as we prepare for what could be the final point of this game if Germany's able to get a break. Would need to be upwind. Czech Republic off to the races. And that's the right amount of float on that disc. They put it right in.
Peter with the frosty flick there, absolutely gorgeous. The wind in his favor that time, so able to put the touch on it. And Czechs banging it straight away, and we got a universe point situation in our hand.
Yuri Vosicek pulling that one down. We got a couple of shout outs here on Twitter. Anna Zavrina says, watching the game from Prague, proud about my teammates Rachel Tolznerova and Martin Liepert. She's a 3SB player for sure. And also about my roommate Vosicek, who just came down with that disc. So I hope you're happy out there, Anna. Johnny on Twitter says, watching from Germany, greetings to the ugly Aardvarks in Marburg. Go Hanna and Lutz.
Tension rising now on the grandstand. This is a huge game for both teams. A real dogfight. Czechs have the harder battle going upwind, but they got the bigger crowd, definitely.
Universe point. Here we go. Germans on offense, going downwind. Can they pull it off? It's been a game of back and forth, much like the weather that has turned to sun here in Copenhagen. Kronacher back in. The flick huck down the field to Frauenhof. The layout from the Czechs. Frauenhof tries for the second effort, but it's too far, and there's an injury on the field. There's an injury on the field. Marek Dostal doing a great rundown to get that D, but he is really hurting.
Dostal, great stuff there. We saw that one kind of macked up in the air, and how often have we seen in universe point situations, those ones have been gathered up. So a bit lucky there.
The wind just enough to move it out of the reach of Frauenhof. Let's look again at this replay. This is a very nice play. Dostal doing as much as he can to get this out of bounds. So the Czechs here, if they can work it upwind, this is for the game.
I think Deutschland going for the pirate code again in that one. We're happy to hook it and pin the Czechs back, as they've struggled getting out of their own end zone upwind.
Yeah, I think that's a good strategy on that one, Liam. Disc coming back off, and it's dropped. And this will give the Germans a very, very short field as they will take their time and set up this offense for what could be the win. Bernhard Otto looking for Frauenhof. The easy point for the score. Germany wins 15-14. Gutted.
Heartbreak for the Czechs there, yeah, absolute heartbreak. They did so well in this game, and a little drop in the end zone and then a burn to the open side with that ISO, and they'll be disappointed with themselves. But great stuff from both teams. A really enjoyable match to watch and to commentate. I'm sure we'll have another thriller now. I'll be going off for some more chocolate milk and cheering on the Irish team as A beautiful David Price gazily bamboozles me.
So we're coming on online. Stay on. Sky Magazine stream. Next game coming up at 5 o'clock Central European time. Just here in 9 minutes is going to be Italy versus Finland in the Open Division.